So let's talk about the double-edged sword of bringing more business in, doubling your business, in fact, tripling your business, right? It all sounds great because the more money that you make, right, or the more business that you bring in, the more money that you make, the more revenue you're bringing into your business. But at the same time, when you're a freelancer, you're a photographer, videographer, graphic designer, okay, the more business that you bring in, the more time that you have to put into these projects, especially if you're the type of person, kind of like we all are, right? We want our product to reflect our creative style, right? Our artistic interpretation, right? Of how we see the project, right? Because when we're working with clients, a lot of times they want you to have some type of creative input, right? They might not give you complete creative control, but they want you to have that input. And, you always want to put your stamp on it, right? And so sometimes we need to learn to let go. Now, this thought was brought to me by this book I just read by Phil Jackson. Okay, now the name of this book is 11 Rings, and it talks about the 11 championships that he won, 6 with the Bulls and 5 with the Lakers. But the point I'm trying to make is that along the way, he had a lot of interesting quotes, one of which was talking about leadership and how you have to learn to let go in order to be a good leader. So the quote went something along the lines of being a good leader isn't forcing people, to your will. It's about learning to let go. And so why am I bringing this up? Because in our business, especially, right, you're doing photography, whatever, you're a freelancer. All right, you get it. Especially in our business, it's great to bring in more business. It's great to have more revenue coming into the door. But a lot of times you sacrifice time, right? You got to put time into completing those projects, whether you're on set shooting and then you're editing and then you're delivering it to the client, along with any other type of, project management tasks that you have to do. Maybe you have to add elements that you don't normally do. So, maybe you need a voiceover, or maybe you need a graphics pack, or maybe the client has footage and photos or different assets that they want you to manage. And you got to manage all of this stuff basically and put it out there, right? And the tricky part is that although we want to put our artistic signature on our work, there comes a point where you either got to start building a business or, you're holding yourself back. And in order to scale up, in order to double your business, right, you have to be willing to let go. And so I'm thinking about this because now I have kids, I have a family, it gets tough. All right. But the last couple of projects that I did, I actually used some freelancers off of Fiverr. Now, I've done this before in the past, but I've been doing it more and more lately, right? To the point now where I'm not even touching projects. I'm just, people are bringing me whatever it is that they want. I'm going and getting the whole thing made on Fiverr, and then I'm just, boom, putting it up, right? And, it's kind of interesting to think because when you're doing business that way, you can increase the amount of business that you're doing, right? All of a sudden you can take on a lot of projects, and we always want to get our hands in the mix, especially if we're creative people. So why not do, the projects that you don't really care about, right? When we all have those where you're just doing it because, hey, it's paying money, right? And you're not super excited about the project, but you still want to kind of give it your own twist, your own flair, whatever the case may be. But when you have those type of projects, why not just have a freelancer do the whole thing, right? They always say, if somebody is 80% as good as you, then let them do it, right? And sometimes that's twofold tricky, but okay, I get it. All right. So let's just stick to that. If they're 80% as good as you, let them do it. And then maybe you clean it up, or if it's good enough, you present that to the client, right? And you might not have your own little artistic signature on it, right? It might not be the way you would edit a photo, right? It might not be the way you would edit that video. It might not have your preset or your LUT on there, right? That gives it kind of that distinct look that's you, or maybe a certain type of transition, whatever, right? You know what I'm talking about. Okay. But at the end of the day, you're still giving the client what they want. And you're going to have those projects where you don't have a lot of creative control, right? Where the client is going to be super rigid about what it is that they want. And so, you know what? If that's the case, just give them what they want. It doesn't mean that you have to do every single thing. So now comes the part where it's either you increase your business, right? You bring in more clients, you make more money, but you're also doing more work. Or you can increase your business. You might not make as much, right? Because now you're spreading out this whole pie, right, amongst your different people, but you're saving time, right? So would you take less money and have more time, or would you take more money and have no time? Right. And that's kind of what it comes down to, trying to find that fine balance. And part of that is letting go of your work. Right. And not just like, whatever, I don't care, it's willy nilly, they could do whatever as long as blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's not like that. What it's like is that, though, what I'm trying to say is that basically, every single thing might not be your specialty. And that even increases some of the types of work that you can bring in. You don't want to get too far, doing everything, but for the most part, you know what I'm saying. But it can enhance your work as well, too, because there's different things that you don't have that clients may be looking for. Now you can offer all these different type of services. So when you use websites like Fiverr or Upwork or whatever the case is, and you can hire freelancers, especially from anywhere around the world, you just go and see what they're charging, and then you mark it up and you present that to the client. And then essentially from there, now your role just becomes project management, right? Now you're actually leading, right? Because you're project managing, right? You're not so much just doing the work, you're editing the files and then you're sending it back and getting revision, and then you're doing it again and blah, blah, blah. And this all takes time, right? Regardless of how passionate you are about it, it still takes time. But you know what? If you want to lead, right? If you want to start to build something that is, bigger than yourself, that you can sustain, that you can, have time for yourself and for your family, especially if you have a family. If you're young, nobody with you, just go out there, rip and ride, man, But when you got a family, you got different types of responsibilities, and you can't spend as much time as you would like all the time in your business. So, and sometimes you get burnt out. That's a reality too. The last couple of projects that I did, like I said, I had freelancers put the whole thing together because I was burnt out. I was just tired. I didn't feel like doing every single thing. And so I didn't. But the client still got a great project. You know what I mean? I was able to, save my time and just kind of manage stuff here and there. I didn't have to worry about doing every single task. And, I don't know. That's the name of the game, right? Because after a while, if we want to build a business and we want to build a sustainable business, you got to get it to a point where you're not doing every single thing, basically where you're just kind of overseeing it, right? And if you want it to be a small boutique type of thing, it could be something like that, where you're working with freelancers directly off of Fiverr, right? It doesn't have to be something where you're building it up and you're hiring employees and all that other, types of jazz. It doesn't have to be like that, because nowadays the type of work that's out there, I mean, you can get basically everything. So that's my insight for today. Thanks for sticking around. And if you did, give me a like, subscribe, or drop me a comment and let me know what's going on with you right now on your creative journey. So for all my people out there who are trying to build a life on their terms and get it how they live, this is your man, Jonathan Moore, and I'm signing out. Peace.